Hey everyone, I am going to make the distance time graph on Excel 2010 to show you how to do it for your car lab from Friday. The first thing you need to do is put the data that's going to go into the distance time graph and the velocity time graph into Excel. One thing that I would recommend is putting whatever you want on the x-axis in the first column because Excel defaults that. I'm just going to put time label there just so I can keep track of which numbers are which. These things are not going to be graphed. The labels are not going to be graphed, but it's helpful to have them in there. I got some data from a student, so this is from one of today's labs. I'm putting in all of the times. In the second column, make sure you put your distances in because that is what we're going to default to. And then in the third column, make sure it's your instantaneous velocities, not average velocities. You're not taking total distance divided by total time. You're taking the incremental distance and the incremental times. This student already did it for me, so I have all that data. Then I'm going to just skip a couple rows and put in car 2 data so I don't get car 1 and car 2 mixed up. So here are my times. And then distances again, which are the same, so I'm just going to copy and paste them. And then my velocities again. Instantaneous velocity is not average. All right, next step is to make your distance time graph, you need to highlight your time and distance data for car 1. You then go to the top of the page and click Insert, and we are going to make a scatter plot without lines connected. You see, once I hit that scatter plot, here are my chart tools, and so this is where I'm going to get everything I need for the rest of my graph. If you go to Layout, you can title your graph. I'm just going to call it Toy Car Motion. I forgot car. You can also label your axes. Make sure you put units. So time is always on the X in seconds. And then for your vertical axes, this one will work. And this one is a displacement in meters. Make sure if you didn't use 0.5 increments that you change the increments that you used, or it will not work out. Next thing I want to do is make sure that my labels, I actually want to go back to design, that I label these correctly. Go to Select Data, and here is Series 1. I'm going to edit it. That's the first one I put in, and this is all of car 1. So I'm going to click OK for that, and you'll see that my legend got changed to car 1. I'm going to add more data now because I want to get the top speed of this car, and I can look in my data and I see that the top speed that is constant is like 2.1 to 1.7, 2.1. I'm thinking this 1.7 point is maybe not the best point. I'm thinking maybe the lap time wasn't perfect. But what I want to do is I want to get a straight line portion of these 4 times. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the data. I'm going to add a series. This series I'm going to call car 1 and then constant speed, because I'm going to make a series that uses those values. Then for the x-axis, I want to use the times that give those numbers. So I'm going to highlight just these 4 times. I'm going to click this red arrow again. Then for the y-axis, I need to match the same ones. and I click that, and OK. If I click OK again, you will see that I have these 4 points are my car 1 going a constant speed. I want to know what that constant speed is, not just by adding them up and averaging these numbers, but using my trend line. So I'm going to go to Layout again, hit Trend Line, and I'm going to hit More Trend Line Options for car 1 constant speed. It's a linear. I want to click Display Equation and display R squared value, and that is the equation for that portion of my line. I know that slope represents velocity, and so the average speed at that time was about 1.9 meters per second. I'm now going to put my car 2 data on the same graph. So I'm going to go back to Design, click Select Data again. I'm going to add another series, and this one is going to be, oopsie, I just bumped something. It's going to be car 2. My X values now are down here. I'm going to click all of the times for car 2, and I click the red arrow again for the Y's, and all of the Y data for displacement. I click OK, and if I want to see this data, I made a mistake. Let's pause a second.